Lex coming off the bench, is that something that we think we'll see moving forward to get that spark offensively?
Well, Lex didn't start the game because she didn't practice the day before because she was one of the kids that was sick and had to get some shots and those type of things. But after what she did coming off the bench, I don't think that's a bad idea. We've been looking for that person to come off to give us that offensive spark, and she was able to do that. So as you've noticed all year long, our starting lineup's a revolving door. It's going to change depending on personnel, depending on things that have happened in practice building up to the game, and also depending on who the other team starts. So, but I think she felt very comfortable in that role. When she came in, she was ready, and it was great to see her make shots.
You got 22 bench points, on Saturday as well, which I thought was pretty critical in the win. Sakia Mack had 7 of those. You ended up having to have her down low several times for those tougher rebounds. What kind of matchup troubles has she been able to exploit, and how do you think she's been developing over these last 2 or 3 weeks?
She's done a really good job. She works extremely hard in practice. She's one of our hardest practice players. Sometimes her minutes are, again, depending on who we're playing in the matchup for her. She is very difficult for some people to guard, but we also have to guard on the other end. And sometimes when people play 4 guards in one post, it's difficult to play her. But SIUE was a perfect matchup for her. We needed a banger. We needed somebody down there in the paint that was going to bully people around. I mean, they ended up with 44 paint points. And when you look at that, you're like, how did we win the game? Because that was something that I continuously harped on at halftime. They had 22 at the time. Said that, we're not going to win the game if we continue to let us get pushed around on the inside, either by letting them smash us deep and get easy shots or offensive rebounds. But I just thought that the things that she did were indicative of the type of player that she is. She was physical. She took the ball to the basket, got some big offensive boards. And, one of the biggest plays of the game is they go the half-court trap thinking they're going to throw us off, and Macy throws a bullet, threads the needle. Matt catches it, one dribble, head fake, puts it in. Huge play of the game. She's very capable of being a big part of what we're doing. Her minutes, again, like I said, has nothing to do with anything else other than matchups on both ends.
Last week, the offense for a majority of the 2 games looked the best it's been all season. What changes in practice have you guys had to really get the offense to execute well last week?
Well, I know people find us difficult to scout because we change the offense almost before every game, and I know for me that's probably a stretch because I don't think it's the offense. I don't think it's what we've put in that's not effective. I think we just haven't made shots. You go back and you look at the shots that we're getting, and they've been really good shots, open shots. We're just not making them. But sometimes when your offense is stagnant, sometimes your team needs a little boost by saying, hey, here's a new offense. We think this is going to work, and we try to build them up through that. But I thought our ball movement more than anything the last couple games, and the sharing of the basketball and making the extra pass and not being complacent with not running through our offense has been the biggest difference. But we've been waiting for that offensive spark all year. Defense has been outstanding. Our offense has been our problem. So hopefully if we can continue to make shots, keep the confidence level high up on the offensive end of the floor, that we'll be able to put both ends together and try to finish this as strong as possible.
Talking about that offense, especially again on Saturday, we saw 81 points, 11 from 21 from 3, minus that tough third quarter stretch. What do you think it is about third quarters? Because in conference play, the best third quarter you guys had was against Eastern Illinois.
I'm not sure. They just were more ready to play than we were at the end of the third quarter. And, you kind of are up and you're hyped and you go into halftime. And, we were making our adjustments at halftime and talking about the things that we have to do. And then we just weren't mentally and physically ready to play. And they make a run. And the problem is we're not good enough to allow those runs. We haven't made it to the point where a lot of times we can sustain when people do that to us. But we did get a timeout. We did get some composure. There was some intensity in the timeout, obviously trying to get our heads back into what we were doing. And then I think we came out after that and maybe went 4 for 4. Again, when the ball goes in the basket, it changes everything. And I think we'd start off like 0 for 7 in the quarter. So a lot of times it's so mental. When the ball's going in, it seems like your defense picks up a little bit more. When the shot's not going in or you're making mistakes, sometimes it kind of snowballs on both ends of the floor. But we've got to figure out a way not to have those lulls, and I don't know if we need to do jumping jacks or push-ups at halftime or what we need to do, but as a staff, we've got to figure out how to get rid of those stagnant moments.
Speaking of snowballing, very critical week. If you want to keep the momentum going, get to Evansville. What's the message this week, knowing that both of these games are winnable, but on the road and it'll be tough in hostile environments?
They're must win. We don't sugarcoat things for our players. We never have, and that's not going to change here. I mean, we walk in the locker room and say, this is a game we got to win. Now, you can accept that pressure or you can back down from it. But these are two games that we have to win if we want to get ourselves an opportunity to go to Evansville. I mean, we put ourselves in this position, and not necessarily because of anything major that we've done, just because our process has taken some lumps along the way, which is part of it. And we've had to kind of not necessarily look at the outcomes as much and not focus so much on the wins and losses as much as focusing on the process of getting us to where we need to be. And through that, we've taken some losses in conference that I feel like we shouldn't have. So it's our job to go out in these next 6 games, find a way to win them. We don't want to count on anybody else. This is on us. So every game we go into is a game that we're going to tell these kids, we got to win this game. And then if we don't, then we got to find a way to win the next one. So right now all we're focused on is Eastern. We're going to come in today and we're going to go just as hard or harder today than we've gone all year. We've just got to get better every single day and take care of business this week on the road.
Does Eastern feel like a trap game? You know that they're a team that's extremely, extremely hungry for a win at league play.
I think yes, for sure. I mean, I don't know how much our kids pay attention to. It's crazy to me. I'm a basketball junkie. I'm looking at stats. I'm looking up what other conference teams are doing. If you ask our players, and I think we're down to like 12 now. I mean, like 10 playing. I'm not sure that half of them would be able to tell you what Eastern's record is. Now, I think in some ways that's good, but in some ways that drives you crazy as a coach. Do you not watch basketball? I mean, I'm on ESPN Plus day in and day out, scouting, watching other games. Had the TV on yesterday, watching college basketball. I'm just a junkie when it comes to wanting to learn. I watched games from the coach's perspective. I watch to see the adjustments that the coaches make in certain situations. So I'm always trying to learn. But so in some ways, I'm not 100% sure that they understand that, and that could be good. But I understand that, and it's a game that would definitely probably push us out of the tournament if we didn't go take care of business on Thursday. So it will definitely be stressed, and we will not be taking them for granted as far as a coaching staff perspective.